Hey, what? Look, what's going on? He stopped calling. Was waking up to me in the morning. No vacay shit got boring. I ain't treat a bitch like we normal. Ain't going, I was getting impatient. He dragging, I ain't racing. He stopped sharing his location and wonder why he got short conversations. What happened? We not laughing. Stop grabbing my ass when he passing. Wasn't mentally dead, just acting. Anniversary gift started lacking. What's going on? I ain't never knew you. Didn't think about giving up too soon. When I opened my mouth, this truthful nigga was the needle this pussy like you see. I told his ass be careful with me. I guess he thought I wouldn't practice what I preach. I let you slide so many times that he got comfortable. Shit almost tore a bitch down. See, that's what love could do. Like every day a new lie. You fucking think with 2 eyes. How can you treat me like I ain't shit? Nigga, on our wedding day, you cried. You wrote down some beautiful vows. Gave my first beautiful child. Told me was quiet for all of these hoes. I'm trying to find out you the one loud. Still I stay. I don't regret it. Still ain't cheat. I ain't get credit. It's all my truth. And I ain't hit edit. I still don't shit like, yeah, I said it. You don't like that I moved on and I hate that for you. Telling yourself that I ain't that loyal. Finding a nigga that love me more than you did is what I call payback for you. I told his ass be careful with me. I guess he thought I wouldn't practice what I preach. I let you slide so many times that he got comfortable. Shit almost tore a bitch down. See, that's what love could do. I feel it in the air when I step outside. I listen to my heart and it don't feel right. Got me feeling just a little peculiar. Yeah, I told you I would put up with you one last time, but then you did too much and you crossed that line. Now I scream at the top of my lungs, what the fuck is going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 yeah. I told his ass be careful with me. I guess he thought I wouldn't practice what I preach. I let you slide so many times that he got comfortable. Shit almost tore a bitch down. See, that's what love could do.
What's going on, Conscious Crew? Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, please go ahead and run all of those likes all the way up. We need all the likes in the live chat, child, because it is always a lot going on with this YouTube. You guys know by now that YouTube has made some interesting changes to their platform that is affecting all content creators and definitely affecting the Conscious Crew over here. So, yeah, we're going to need all crowd participation. Make sure that you guys are thumbing up until it is absolutely stuck. Thumbing up doesn't cost you anything at all. However, you also can donate to the platform if you appreciate everything that the King does over here, whether that be on Cash App, $Consciouztv, and or paypal.me/ConsciouzTV. All donation and information hyperlinks are in the description box below. Also, make sure that you guys are subscribed here if you are in fact new here. We are a all-purpose platform and we do it all, girl. We do it all, child. And last but not least, please share the stream out to whatever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the line. Just let them whores know that we're loud, we're live, and we are certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through. Oh,
I I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, what is going on, Conscious Crew? Happy to have you guys in the building. Hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. We got to get into some things. I'm probably going to come back live one more time after this live stream because I want to expound upon the conversation that we got into regarding Saweetie and pretty privilege and pretty punishment and all the controversy that went on around her remarks. I really want to I got some extra things to dog pile onto that commentary. So we'll probably be circling the block before the day is all said and all done. Let me speak to the country crew in the building. What is going on, Brittany? Hey, baby. What's going on? It's Gotta Be Destiny. Hey, love. What's going on? It's Kimani's Way. Hey, Carolyn. What's going on, Les Fam? What's going on, Medusa? Hey, Sharon. What's going on, Tanika? What's going on? Hey, y'all. What's going on, Spiritual Reed? Hey, Danny girl. Hey, Alex. Hey, Linda. Hey, y'all. Also, my Cardi B reaction video is back up. So YouTube decided to not play on my freaking head top, y'all. So you guys can now view it. It is definitely viewable for my American audience. So please check that out before Cardi B changes her mind, girl, and then it's back down. All right, I did repost the link to the community wall. Now, what I want to get in here and speak to you guys about is this Trey Reed case. Okay, you guys probably have heard by now of the 21-year-old Mississippi University student who was found hanging by administration in the campus yard. Okay, there have been rumors swirling ever since that he had broken bones, he had broken limbs, broken legs, etc. This definitely brought cause for curiosity and questioning, because how can somebody obviously take their own life if they are in fact without their freaking legs, especially if the death is by hanging? You need your legs and you need your goddamn arms in order to successfully hang yourself, all right? This also came like a day or two after the Charlie Kirk popping. So there's also been conversation around whether this was retaliation for the extreme alt-right side losing one. We always know that Black folk have to pay for everything that goes on in this country, even when she ain't got nothing to do with us. Hence, prime example is all of the HBCUs receiving death threats and HBCUs around the country having to close campus because, for whatever reason, despite alt-right America not having any information at that time about the Uter, they decided that niggas had absolutely and utterly did it. So it's not, outside of the scope of belief that this could have been a retaliation to the so-called political violence against alt-right pale supremacist Charlie Kirk. As a result of all of these questionings, did this young man unalive himself? Did he have broken bones, etc.? I decided to do a deep dive, especially since a lot of you guys were not satisfied with the coroner or the medical examiner in this case coming to the conclusion that in fact this was death by suicide. The medical examiner in this case, which would be the second one, there is a private autopsy that is taking place right now as well that we're waiting on the results of. But before we get there, the state examiner examined Trey Reed initially and did not find any additional bruising or injuries to his body. And then he got into the hands of another medical examiner who did a more detailed examination of Trey Reed. I believe the state examiner was actually on the scene and had viewed the initial body of Trey Reed, and then the second medical examiner also, he was Kojic as well. Okay, all right. What's going on, Alex? But the second examiner also legitimized and corroborated the first examiner's findings that there were no other intrusions, there were no broken bones, there was no hemorrhaging, and decided that there had not been any evidence to support that there was any pre-attack on Trey Reed. All right, so we're going to get into where the case is right now. We have civil rights leaders who have jumped onto the case. We have NFL players who have also entered the group chat to sponsor the current private medical examination that is taking place of Trey Reed's body per his family's request. And we're going to get into how in the hell did all of these narratives even spin around the block to begin with. So let's get into the most recent update, you guys, okay? Essence posted that Colin Kaepernick is paying for the current, hold on, let me share my screen. You guys run those likes or the way up, because we need all of that. All right. Former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick is funding an independent autopsy for Travian, also known as Trey Reed, the Delta State University student found dead on campus through Kaepernick's Know Your Rights Camp autopsy initiative. The Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office conducted an autopsy on September 17th, ruling the cause of death as hanging and classifying it as self-deletion. Cleveland police say that final toxicology results are pending and could take up to 4 weeks. DSU Police Chief Michael Pillar adds that no evidence of foul play has been found, and investigators are reviewing footage to determine what happened to the computer science major. The Bolivar County Coroner's Office echoes that an initial exam shows no signs of attack as well. Still, Reed's family expressed serious concerns, citing conflicting accounts and incomplete information. The second independent review will move forward once the state medical examiner releases Reed's body. All right, so shout out to Colin Kaepernick, who is funding this autopsy at the hands of, or per the request of the family. Okay, so we'll be waiting on that. Now, a lot of this confusion took place because of an interesting figure who presented himself as Trey Reed's cousin girl. And he's the one who spun the narrative that Trey Reed also had broken arms and broken bones upon being found. And for those of you who missed that, I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. All right, check out alleged Trey Reed's cousin.
The Charlie Kirk situation right now. Let's go down to Mississippi. The name Trayvon Reed needs to ring all over the United States right now. 1, that is my cousin. 2, this is the second incident that has occurred within the last 5 years at this campus. Delta State University has had a run-in with me and their policemen. They tried to lock me up for no reason, and it didn't succeed in their favor. I went on a 9-month probation, and that's it. This year, just today, it was reported that my cousin was found hanging from a tree, and they trying to rule it as a suicide. Now, I just got off the phone with one of my cousins. She said she seen the reports, and it said that he was beaten and bruised. Both his arms was broken, and he had a broken leg. I'm gonna let y'all do the math. Now, this school has history for being racist. Even going all the way back to the 1980 situation that happened with the sit-in. I love to refer to that situation because That was one of the significant situations that happened with one of the black revolts that happened at their school. But still, I'm trying to be composed in this video, and I'm trying to keep it all together. But it's a lot of shit that happens on that campus that don't nobody do shit about. It was incidents before my incidents, my big incident happened, and that I reported that nobody did nothing about. Somebody tried to report me for a hate crime, and they was the one being homophobic, transphobic, and being racist. And they was trying to lock me up until I had multiple people come out and speak against him. There was an incident that I reported that it was a group of white students in a white truck while I was a freshman. They yelled at me and my friends and called us a bunch of monkeys. Please do a deep dive on this. Please, 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 please do your research on this. Do not let them sweep nothing else under the rug. Enough is enough. It is 2025, and bullshit after bullshit after bullshit is still getting fed to us. Enough is enough. We gotta wrap it up.
All right, what is going on, Auntie Trish? Hey, bougie bitch. Hey, babes. Thank you so much. All right, so come to find out, this is not Trey Reed's cousin, second cousin, third cousin, not even a best friend. Nobody even knows if this guy even actually knows Trey Reed. The family has debunked this being his cousin. Trey Reed's mother came forward and stated that she doesn't know this nigga. He's definitely not Trey's cousin, etc. So what should have also probably been another initial telltale sign that something was fishy about this guy's narrative is that he claimed that one of his cousins called him and had seen a report that detailed all of these injuries that Trey Reed initially had. Well, we don't even have any such reports. There's no articles. There's nothing chronicling all of those injuries, okay? And I've been looking, everybody else has been looking, but this broken bone narrative only came from this guy here, and it was word of mouth. I went to his TikTok where he initially posted this video, and he has since removed the goddamn video, I guess because he was denounced by the family, all right? So there are no broken bones. The mother has been speaking through Trey's sisters, who are all over Facebook, keeping everybody informed. We're going to get into the family, and they are clearing a lot of the he say, she say. A lot of people not only are clout chasing off of this situation, but they're also starting fake GoFundMes. The family has not requested, or they have not even created any GoFundMes for anybody to send money to. However, because of what's taken place, people have been asking them where they can send money. So they do have links you can send money to, but they have not sought or initiated any collection of money, nor do they have any GoFundMes online as well, okay? So this is not Trey's cousin, and like the medical examiner's autopsy report came back, there have not been any other additional injuries to imply that Trey was murdered by anyone, okay? It's going to get a lot more confusing as well because a lot of misinformation, well, we'll get into that, okay? This is one of Trey's relatives here. This is Alexis Reed, okay? I believe she is one of Trey's sisters. She's been keeping everybody updated on her Facebook page along with another relative as well. They've been like tag teaming each other and things all up and through Facebook. She posted the Colin Kaepernick situation. She's posting his flyer, his vigil, the ceremony, the balloon release, etc. Okay, here's her also speaking out against the GoFundMe. Okay, it says share. The GoFundMe accounts are scams. Please do not share. Okay, and she listed 3 different GoFundMes that are all fraudulent, etc. She also tagged Trey's Facebook page in this to get the word out. So do not send any money to any of those GoFundMes, you guys. They are not authorized by the family. Also, you guys know Ben Crump is also representing the family as well. Now, this is her also clearing up the whole broken limbs situation, okay? Rumors are spreading, and this was written up on September the 16th. Rumors are spreading so fast in Trey's incident. I am going to state this, his family in all caps hasn't stated anywhere that he had any broken parts. The family doesn't have any information or answers to what happened. We are waiting, so therefore don't say the family said anything. This is extremely emotional. Stop sharing false stories. If you want to do anything for the family, just say a prayer. There is also no GoFundMe made from the family. It is in fact a scam, okay? Lots of his relatives are on Facebook and they're all debunking this broken bone situation. It did not happen. It did not come from the family. It came from the fake ass cousin sitting in his dorm room, clout chasing off the situation because he himself has personally experienced a racial injustice at this campus and decided to weaponize and exploit Trey's passing in order to really focus on what happened to him, as you guys heard him say. All right. So there is no broken bones, no broken legs, no broken anything. Okay. This is also more tribute to him. This is a post she made on the 15th. When I say I've been lost for words, I mean exactly that. My thoughts and mind been wondering and trying to piece together what could have happened. I literally watched Key and Trey grow up. I remember when I used to blow the house phone up, Trey and Key would say, Uncle Mook, it's that girl calling again. This is really hard to believe. God give us strength, peace, understanding. I know your uncle has welcomed you with open arms. Okay, here's another post on the 15th. The family does not know what happened. Abstain from asking what happened. Just keep the freaking family in your prayers. All right. So once again, none of that broken bone, broken neck, eyeballs were popped out. None of that shit came actually from the family. That's why there are no verified sources to cite from regarding the family making those emphatic statements. That came from the fake ass TikToker cousin of Trey. All right. Now, there's also been conflicting reports. Remember, there's been what the family has come forward and said is that they found out, particularly Trey's grandparents found out. Well, they were told one thing, but found out a different thing. They claimed that the initial Mississippi police came to their home because this is who Trey had listed as his emergency contacts, was his grandparents. And the grandparents, I want to say claimed, but had initially thought that Trey died in his dorm room. Come to find out, he was found hung. The Mississippi Police Department, who initially went out to break the news to the grandparents, have refuted this claim, saying that they, in fact, in no way had shared how Trey had passed away, nor where he passed away at, because even they at the time did not know that information. So we're going to get into that, and then I'm going to put it all together for you guys and tell you guys what I think has happened here that kind of has created this kerfuffle. All right. I told you guys I was doing some deep diving and pulling up some articles and seeing what in the hell had been reported on, what could be verified, etc. And there are conflicting reports, but it's the reason for that. All right. Courtesy of Mississippi, freepress.org, police in Bolivar County are awaiting autopsy results for Trey Reed, a Black student found hanging from a tree at Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi. The case has ignited strong emotions in a state with a history of racist violence. The 21-year-old student was found near the campus pickleball courts early Monday, while police have said they have zero evidence of foul play. His family is demanding answers and has hired prominent civil rights attorney Ben Crump. Campus Police Chief Michael Pillar released little new information about the investigation at a news conference, calling the death an isolated incident and insisting that there were no active threats to students and faculty. Quote, out of respect for those grieving, we ask for continued patience and compassion as this investigation proceeds, Pillar told reporters at the Delta State campus. The chief state medical examiner was conducting an autopsy Wednesday, and Pillar said preliminary findings should be released in a day or two. Pillar said the evidence includes video footage, but he would not say what it shows and where it came from, citing the ongoing investigation. I know a lot of people want to make a conspiracy out of that. However, police department's typical protocol is when there's an open investigation and they're trying to figure out what the fuck took place, and if there is foul play, if this is a murder, self-deletion, etc., they are very selective about what information they will release and won't release to the public, given wherever they are at that time in the investigation, to not soil the investigation. Crump said in a statement on Wednesday that police should allow the student's family to view any video police have gathered. He said he also plans to lead an investigation alongside civil rights groups that would include an independent autopsy, which you guys already know is happening via the virtue of Colin Kaepernick. Quote, we are taking every step to uncover the truth about what happened, Crump said. Family members also pressed for more information from university officials during a news conference on Tuesday. Vanessa Jones, another attorney for the family, said the student had just started classes at Delta State this fall and was full of life and eager to be there. There should have been cameras at the university that easily could have enlightened us as to what happened, Jones told reporters, adding, quote, from the moment he left his dorm room or entered the campus, there should be surveillance of all of his actions, and there is. They just haven't been released to the public or to the family yet. Bolivar County Deputy Coroner Moray Rourke dispelled online rumors that Reed was found with broken arms and legs in a Monday interview with the Mississippi Free Press. Quote, I saw no broken limbs, Rourke said, explaining that he assisted Deputy Coroner Dwayne Proctor with the examination. Rourke's assessment was echoed the next day in a press statement by Bolivar County Coroner Rudolph Seals. Quote, based on the preliminary examination, we can confirm that the deceased did not suffer any lacerations, contusions, compound fractures, broken bones, or injuries consistent with an assault. At this time, there is zero evidence to suggest the individual was physically attacked before his death, Seals wrote. On Tuesday, Jones said during a press conference on Tuesday that the Grenada County Sheriff's Department had initially told the family that Reed died in his dorm room before they learned that he was found hanging in a tree. That too fueled online rumors. Grenada County Sheriff's Department Chief Deputy Ricky Williamson told the Mississippi Free Press in an interview on Wednesday that neither he nor his investigator, Sonja Willis, specified where Reed had been found when they informed the family of Trey's death on Monday. Grenada, his childhood hometown, is located roughly an hour east of Cleveland, where he was studying at Delta State University. Quote, that was never the words that were said when they were notified of his death. Absolutely not. The conversation was that me and my investigator went there to the grandparents of Trey Reed, had them sit down on the porch, and we told them that we had been sent to notify them that Trey Reed had been found deceased at Delta State University, and the DSU police chief was on scene. Quote, Williamson said on Wednesday afternoon, I said, and I don't recall the exact wording, but that they didn't believe it had been done by anyone else. He continued, quote, I handed them the note with the chief's name and phone number and asked, could we pray with them? We prayed, and as we were leaving, the grandmother asked, was he down on the floor? Was he by his bed? I said, ma'am, I do not know. And that's when we walked away. At a press conference on Wednesday, Delta State President Dan Ennis acknowledged the painful history that has informed the reaction to Reed's death. Quote, we recognize that this is not only about facts, he said, it's about emotions and about feelings, and the way this loss and how it was discovered affects people's lives. Many social media posts about the case have invoked a darker period in U.S. history when unalivings of Black people by white vigilantes inflicted racial terror in Mississippi and other parts of the Deep South. They include the infamous lynching of Emmett Till, whose body was found 30 miles from the Delta State campus. Marquand McKinney said he and other Black students at Delta State have been shaken by the death. Quote, everybody's upset right now, McKinney said, adding that he feels that university officials are trying to downplay the death. Quote, it's a lot of emotions going on. McKinney said his mother caught him in the middle of a class on Monday to make sure he was okay before he had learned that someone had been found unalive. Located in the heart of the Mississippi Delta near Arkansas state line, Delta State had a fall 2024 enrollment of more than 2,600 students, 42% of whom are absolutely and utterly Black. U.S. Rep. Benny Thompson, a Mississippi Democrat, has called for the FBI to investigate. So there's something, oh my God, that I want you guys to hold on to, because we're going to have to piece it together, because this is a piece. And it is the part of the discussion that the deputy on the scene with the grandparents quoted of the grandmother asking if Trey was found on the floor by his bed, and the deputy saying, ma'am, I don't know. Okay, so hold on to that. Hold on to that, because we're going to revisit that. All right. There's another article I want to refer, because all of it has like pieces that allow us to stitch all of this together. And you guys, please thumbs up the video. Thank you very much. I love you long time. Run the likes all the way up. We need all of that. All right. So there's information in the second article as well. This is by Delta News TV, okay? Check this out. Family and friends of Trey Reed, joined by the family attorney, gathered at a Grenada church to share memories of the student and raise concerns about how his death had been handled. Reed's uncle, Jerry Reed, described him as a respectful and ambitious. Quote, he was one of those young men who was very obedient, Jerry Reed said. Quote, he always told me that he had a plan for his life. Family attorney Vanessa J. Jones accused Delta State University of failing to notify Reed's family directly after his death. Quote, that is a false narrative that Delta State University has made a phone call to Trey's family, Jones said. They have not made one phone call to this young man's family. Delta State President Daniel Ennis said Thursday that the university did contact the person Reed listed as his emergency contact and next of kin. Jones also alleged that, which would obviously have to be true, which is why the family is claiming they were told one thing, hence him dying in his room, and then found out via the news that he was hung. And they're claiming that authorities told them that initial narrative. We now know who those relatives were, which were the grandparents, who the deputies went in person to break the news to. From here is where I believe it became a game of phone tag. All right, but we'll get further into that. I want to read this whole thing to you guys. Jones also alleged that members of the media were notified of Reed's death before his family. She said family members first learned of the death when the Grenada County Sheriff's Department came to their home September 15th around 9:15 a.m. Quote, they informed the family that Trey was found dead in his dorm room in his bed, Jones said. The family said it plans to seek an independent autopsy. Jones added that Reed's mother was only allowed to view the body from the neck up. Quote, and at this point, justice would look like transparency, Jones said. Family members said that they will pursue answers on their own from Delta State and the Bolivar County Coroner's Office, including requests for surveillance footage. Reed has been enrolled at Delta State for just 1 freaking month. So, the all in all of what seemed to have happened here is the grandparent, for whatever reason, wanted to know whether Trey was deceased on the floor of his dorm or if he was near his bed, etc. The deputy on the scene claims that because he did not have that information to give, he told the grandmother, that he's not sure. They were basically only sent to be the messenger so that the family know that he had died, on the campus. But they didn't have any other details about how, etc., except for the fact that it seemed that there was no foul play. Because we know how people can be, we know how families can be, we know how our people can be, black ass people can be, right? It was interesting that the grandmother assumed right out of the gate that Trey had died in the room, because her question, that was her starting point to the question, was, did he die on the floor near his bed or what? Rather than the question being, how did he pass away? Where was he on the campus? Was he even in his room? Was he in the dorm room of another student? Did this happen outside? The grandmother had already decided for herself and assumed that Trey had passed away in the dorm. Because the officer could not refute that or legitimize that, what it seems had happened is that the grandmother then went and informed the rest of the family that, hey, police just came, Trey died in his room, because she probably just put 2 and 2 together, like, well, I mean, he died on campus, he obviously died in his room, like he was obviously found probably in his room, deceased. That's not an illogical leap. He was already found on the campus. She just took it a step further and assumed that he passed away in his room, and then told the family that. And now, because of that, the family is citing that they were told one thing when the case was another, even though it could be possible that they were never even told what they're saying they was told, because the deputy is saying, we didn't share that with her. We didn't even have it to share with her. So it's given that some assumptions were made. Now, that coupled with the fact that you had an online troll who tried to exploit Trey's death, claiming that he was Trey's cousin, claiming that Trey had broken limbs and broken arms, etc. Between the family claiming they were told one thing and then another, and then this troll. This is how we've gotten into the conspiracy of it all, when it's really just a matter of misinformation coupled with online trolling. And now the investigation is having to kind of double back to clear all of the shit up to make it make sense. And so far, the medical examiner's autopsies have come back clear that Trey had no broken limbs and that there's no evidence of any other injuries leading them to believe that he did not and was not attacked prior to his death. Now, we just read an article too that I guess Trey's mother is claiming that she was only shown the body from the neck up. Not per se sure why that is. However, if there's anything left to remain, discover this independent autopsy courtesy of Colin Kaepernick will uncover the rest of this shit. But there's another major component to this whole thing that actually may lead more into the fact that he took his life more so than he was murdered by someone. And it was what I discovered in another article which featured comments by other Delta State University students who had actually saw Trey that night before he was found unalive. Check this tidbit out here, you guys. Why does this keep bringing this up? Hold on. Is this the right one? Oh no, this ain't the right one either. This is the one I just had. Hold on, y'all. Oh, it brings it to the top. That's why. Got it. We got it. Oh, don't tell me no, that I have to subscribe. There's no way. Okay, let me hurry the fuck up before they make me pay for this tea, child. All right, check out this, because this has an interesting piece to it. Okay, this is written up by US Today. Let me just get to the point. We know about the findings of the coroner, final toxicology. Okay, school police chief suggests no evidence of foul play. Boom cow. Local coroner disputes claims over broken bones and limbs. Boom pow. We know about all that. Okay, here it is. This is a witness, okay? Check this out. Jaquan Wallace, president of the African American Student Council, said that he saw Reed on September 14th, just hours before the tragedy, having a heated discussion on the phone. Quote, I woke up that morning and heard that they found someone hanging from a fruit tree near Blansett Hall. You wonder who could it be, said Wallace, a 20-year-old from Baldwin. They said it was a black person with red hair. I was thinking I just saw this guy with a red hair accessory on. Then more description came out and it was a red hair accessory and not red hair. I had just seen this guy the previous night. Wallace said that he and his roommate were heading out for food when he saw Reed sitting in front of Blansett Hall by himself on the phone. Quote, I asked Trey if he was okay. Wallace recalled adding, quote, he looked up at me and then just looked down at his phone and didn't say anything. I didn't really press him if he didn't want to talk. When they returned, Wallace said he and his roommate saw Reed again, but at a distance. Quote, I could tell he was real upset, Wallace remembered. He was making gestures and he was acting like he was throwing stuff. He would kick the wall and then he stormed off toward Blansett Hall. He was just out of it. Then it goes on to say how there was no foul play, you know, found by the coroner, etc. So here it is. We have a witness, someone who had spoken to Trey and observed Trey just hours before he was found hanging. And this 20-year-old Delta State University student says that Trey was on the phone. There obviously was some type of altercation that he was having on the phone, and that when him and his roommate came back, they saw Trey off at a distance, acting erratic, obviously visibly upset, behaving as if he was throwing things or punching the air, and then storming off. So this is going to be a key piece of evidence here. Since this student is talking to the press, I'm pretty sure that police have probably brought this particular student in, Jaquan, and obviously they're probably going to get access to Trey's phone to find out who he was on the phone with, what was taking place in that conversation, because whatever happened in that conversation to whomever Trey was talking to, that had upset him to the degree in which he was seen storming off, throwing things and fighting the air, could definitely have led Trey, unfortunately, to taking his own life. So far right now, it is given that Trey took his life, not that he was murdered. The question now is more so of why, more so than did he, given all things that are happening here, even though we're not out of the woodworks completely because of this independent autopsy that the family is going to undergo. We'll see if there are any additional findings to that autopsy. But right now, it's given that Trey took his own life and that something was happening. And whatever happened in this phone call kind of sent Trey over the edge. Let me also say this. I'm not surprised, because remember, we also read statements from his uncle saying, Trey was always, he's a very ambitious person. He's very, upbeat, etc. As unfortunate as this statement is, it is very true. Black people are hardly the people that really can read suicidal ideation well on other Black people. We are so disconnected, and we so don't deal in the area of depression, even though so many Black people suffer from depression and experience depression. But, we have a very passive attitude toward depression. My people, our people, people of color, baby, we just ain't the people who per se are good at really making those type of observations in each other, especially when it's another Black person. We're so passive toward other Black people when they are angry, when they are going through things. We definitely never assume that any of our people are going to unalive themselves, even if they are going through something and having a tough time in life. We are just so far removed from the idea of suicide, and because our community does not really specialize in having real conversations, and there aren't enough safe spaces amongst Black people for Black people's pain and sadnesses and grievances. Most Black people also don't even communicate and are transparent and open about their inner demons and their inner turmoil and their inner etc. And certainly not a 21-year-old Black boy is going to be emotionally intelligent enough and vulnerable enough to have shared any of his inner issues with his people, because that traditionally just doesn't happen. And then given that he's a fucking male at that, and this is Mississippi, for God's sake, this is the Bible Belt, this is where, counseling and all of that, that's the pale man's, that's the enemy. All you need is God and Jesus, okay? Just pray about it, So I would not be surprised if the family just has this, like, I can't believe he would do something like this, because he just never gave that. Because most Black people don't give suicide, and certainly young Black men don't visibly demonstrate a lot of the telltale signs. And even if they are so broken in such a way that it screams that there's something clearly wrong, the way we engage that doesn't make that any better, because half the time we are passive and just tell people to slap a little bit more God and a little bit more time in church onto those type of mental health issues, because we still don't really give mental health the priority that it needs to be given. like I said before in our other in our other live stream, another unfortunate component to this is that Trey is within the age range of young Black men who are unaliving themselves at disproportionate rate. It's unfortunate that Trey may be a victim of those statistics, which he fits. Young men his age are suffering through chronic depression and are taking their lives exceedingly. There is a Black male suicide epidemic in the country. And as I said before, Black male loneliness has gone through the roof. Black male depression, gone through the roof. Black male ideation, gone through the roof. Black male self-deletion, gone through the roof, gone through the roof. These numbers have tripled. What drove this young man, if in fact he claimed his own life, which it's given, according to all the evidence right now, that he did? Why? What happened? Did somebody threaten to expose him? There are so many other things that can be going on here aside from what seems to be the obvious, right? Which is that, oh, this is just another racially Mississippi inspired violence. Did somebody threaten to expose him? Did somebody threaten to share something with him? Was he dating someone and was very involved with them and he got broken up with that night? He got cheated on that night? What was Jaquan, this 20-year-old Delta University student, observing in Trey when him and his roommate were coming back to campus that had so Trey out of whack and out of himself? "21-year-old Black men are taking their lives, according to the data." I'm not sure if Trey's family is going to be, if they're even prepared to accept that he took his own life. Let me see if I can pull up a quick article here to show you guys what I'm talking about. See here. Young Black men are dying by suicide at alarming rates. Okay, new studies suggest that racism, childhood trauma may be to blame for suicidal ideation. We found that when Black men were exposed to childhood adversity, they may develop an internal understanding of the world as somewhere they devalued. Young Black men experience higher rates of poverty than white males. Healthy relationships can prevent suicide, etc. So there's all type of things that are informing Black male depression, from poverty to systemic racism to toxic masculinity to father fractures, mother fractures, unhealed and unresolved sexual trauma that Black men are more likely to not be open about relative to their Black female counterparts, who are likely to be more vocal about being essayed and molested, etc. There are so many things that inform why young Black men are taking their lives at phenomenal rates. So I don't know what's happening here, but I'm going to keep my eye out. I am prepared to have the conversation based upon whatever the conversation needs to be, whether this was a lynching or this was an murder by someone in his close community, or whether this was death by deletion. CL says, do you think he could have confronted someone to whom he was angry with and redrunk? Very, very possible, CL. Who was he on the phone with? Was it a relative? Was it someone who had hurt him deeply? Did that person gaslight him, send him over the edge? What was he walking around with? What, like, inside of himself? What was he holding on to? Because, you know, people just don't snap and take their lives. Something, if this is true that he took his life, something has been brewing and stewing and stewing and brewing and brewing and stewing for a long, long time. And it's been slowly escalating. And that unfateful night on Delta State University campus, everything came to a crashing halt. They need to get access to that phone if they haven't already. I'm sure that police have talked to Jaquan and his roommate, who were seemingly some of the last people to see Trey alive before this unalivement. Aries says, I can't believe that's very I can't believe that's very true. And Israel, oh, I can believe, I think is what you're saying. And Israel, depression is a real thing, but it's something else about the story. How did he get the rope up the tree with his legs? Okay, yeah, you got to go back to the beginning, baby. There never was any broken legs. That was a online rumor that was spewed by a clout chasing ass TikToker. The family has debunked the leg and arm injury thing. So there are no other injuries that the family are aware of right now, aside from the obvious that came from strangulation. They are having an independent autopsy done, but there are no broken bones. The family has been speaking out on social media, saying that is not true. Her story says being in academic probation will push you to the edge and overall problems in school with people. Okay, yeah. You know, what's the stress of being in school and his academia? You know, it could be anything. You know, Jaquan, the other student, said that, you know, he was on the phone and he was visibly upset. He stormed off into the building and he was swinging at the air and various things. So whatever the fuck was happening, it really sent him over the top. I can imagine what the fuck was taking place at that moment. But I hope that if this death, you know, if the independent autopsy, the family are taking on, if they're going, if it also clears any injuries, any pre-attacks, I hope that we as a community, that we are ready to have that conversation. I hope that we don't continue to shy away from the suicide conversation just because it's easier to make this a lynching, just because it's easier to make this racially motivated, it's easier to make it conspiratorial, because that would be massive deflecting from a conversation that obviously needs to be had, because Black men are real life taking their lives at Trey Reed's age. He's in that unfortunate demographic of young Black men who are claiming their lives. And we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. Oh, you know the fan gonna fan, baby. You know the fan gonna fan, child. Do y'all have any questions before I get out of here? I just wanted to come through and give y'all that 1-2, because, you know, I was finally able to sit down and get into some things. But yes, there have been no broken bones, you guys. Let me see if I can let me see something here. Y'all thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Now, what's crazy is that apparently there was a second man who was found hanging in a tree not even 24 hours later, also in Mississippi. which is a mess. Okay. And because of what that TikToker did, lots of people and blogs had ran with that initial narrative that there was bruising and broken bones. All of that came from the TikToker going viral. And that's where that misinformation began at. And it did spread like wildfire, unfortunately. As you guys can see here, there were people on the 16th still running with that false narrative, which was fueled by the TikToker. Let me see here. Okay, so you see this person on the 17th. Trey Reed, he was hung on a college campus. The police called it suicide. He had multiple bruising, broken arms and legs. Prove me wrong. She's been proven wrong. All right. The family, Alexis Reed, etc., as I had read to you guys, had debunked those rumors. The family has not corroborated that and have said that they have no information about anything, which is why they're getting an independent autopsy done themselves, and that those were statements not given nor authorized by the family. Okay, another user, Justin, who also wrote, I just want to clear the air for some of you who may have no idea what they're talking about, and I keep seeing it and it's pissing me off. Trey Reed did not have any broken bones, legs, or even a bruise on his body, according to his own mother. The guy who claims to be his cousin, which he isn't, made those claims on TikTok, which we played the video of, and Trey's mom said that that wasn't even his cousin. Also, the autopsy report actually released saying no signs of cuts, bruises, broken bones, nothing. My second point is, okay, that he goes on to talk about another individual by the name of Corey Zucketis, who was hung in Mississippi near a casino. I think that may be the other black person that was found hung 24 hours after Trey. So, yeah. I mean, you guys are calling it like lynching, but it's also called death by hanging. So lynching is something that's done by someone else. If you take your life via hanging yourself, that's not considered a lynching. So we also can't make death by a rope lynching. People do die by suicide via hanging themselves. I mean, hell, they claim that Jeffrey Epstein hung himself, right? In his own a prison cell. But hundreds of millions of people have taken their lives via hanging. Okay, they hang themselves in their backyards, in their bathrooms. A lot of LGBT youth who take their lives, unfortunately, take their lives via hanging. So hanging is, it's a tactic that people do yield to take their lives. And when I think about this, right, because I was thinking like, damn, but in the campus university yard, like that was the most bizarre part to me. I was like, well, why would someone hang themselves so out loud? Most people take their lives privately, but then I had to remember, oh, he's on a campus. This is a student. He probably had a dorm mate, so he probably couldn't. And typically there aren't anything in a college dorm that allows you to really hang yourself on, like there aren't, there aren't like shit just hanging off the walls or hanging from the ceiling that you can even like tie a rope through to do that with, hardly. So any of the available areas outside of the dorm probably made better sense. But it is still interesting that he did take his life outside of his dorm room. And we're going to have to ultimately wait until the independent autopsy comes back. When the independent autopsy comes back and it clears any pre-attack, etc., for me, this was death by suicide, and all that would be consistent with what all the other examiners have already found, along with this Jaquan, Delta State University student who also saw Trey distress hours before he allegedly took his life. And then that'll be the conversation that we'll be having, you know. So, yep. Robin Williams, another one, actor, comedian, took his life. Yeah, it happens. It's sad. So I'll keep you guys updated. Thumbs up, share. If you guys get any type of information or anything on this case, etc., send it to me, consciouztv@gmail.com, and or DM me on Instagram at consciouztv and send it to me, or tag me on Insta if it's on Insta, etc. But yeah, find a way to get me anything that you guys see out there, because I will be continuing to cover the story until it concludes. Right now, we are waiting on the independent autopsy of Trey's body, and there have been no official reports of any broken bones. That was a lie in a narrative spun by a clout chaser. That's our public statement doing it on campus. He was sending. I was thinking that to her story, like, this also could have been a statement made, you know, either the outside area of the campus, because they never told us where he was found on the campus. So either where he took his life, it was just easier for him to do it at that particular area of the campus, or he was making a statement. So yeah, more to be discovered. But I'll see you guys later. Please thumbs up, share. Tell me what you think in the comment section. If you enjoyed yourself, you already know, consciouztv@gmail.com. I mean, consciouztv on Cash App and or paypal.me/consciouztv. Email me all tea at my email, consciouztv@gmail.com. Sign up for Patreon. Follow me on Instagram at consciouztv. And I will see you all. Well, Don says, is there any? Yes, there is camera footage, but the police have not released that yet because it is an active investigation right now. So they haven't released it yet, and maybe they won't because of the nature of what the footage would show, obviously, which is Trey hanging. But Ben Crump, the attorney for the family, is requesting that footage. The family will probably have it before the public does, if it's released to the public at all. But there is footage for sure. They do have a footage, and that's why they are saying that right now it's death by suicide, which is consistent with the medical examiners, etc. So we'll see. We will see, child. I think it's oxymoron. A black man would never do this to himself. I refuse. But that's not true. Bougie, that completely just slaps in the face the facts that I just posted. I mean, not wanting to believe it is actually a part of the problem, right? Because what we refuse to believe, we can't deal with effectively. But it's unfortunate that young black men are dying by suicide at alarming rates. Black men die by suicide. I mean, yeah, that's a real thing. They overdose. They jump off buildings. They go balls to the wall on a gas pedal and run off of bridges. They leap off of rooftops. They take their lives. And it's young black men at that. And that's something that we need to believe so that we can forward the healing that needs to happen, you know, in our community, because this is a real thing. And not dealing with it, it's what's going to continue to create this epidemic that's taking place. It's time for us to wake up. Black people do this to themselves. Black women die by suicide. Black children die by suicide. Black men die by suicide. And we've got to bring that conversation and that topic closer to our hearts, and because now that conversation and that reality is in our homes. People that we love are doing this. So it's a real thing. And you know, That's why I said earlier, I hope Trey's family, because Trey got a black ass Mississippi family and they part of the Bible Belt situation. And I hope that they're going to deal with this. I hope that they will not deflect from this. I know how black families are. I know how our people are, girl. We don't ever want to accept the suicide thing. We don't even like to talk about death. We don't even, you know, It's a mess. And how we've been dealing with the reality of depression in our community and mental illness and mental health in our community has what largely led to this disproportionate phenomenon that is elevating in the black community. We got to talk about it, y'all. We got to take it there. We got to have those conversations. Well, we don't even know if it was a tree, Bougie. We don't know if it was a tree. We just know he was found hanging. We just know that he was found by a campus administrator, but we don't know where. So we don't know whether he hung himself on a pole, a tree, etc. But look, the reality is somebody who is ready to die doesn't care about any of those things. You know, they're just trying to get the job done. And whatever makes that more effective for them to do it with is what they're going to do. But I don't think it's been confirmed yet that it was a tree per se. We just know he was found hanging on the campus, and he was found by a campus authority. So more details. Once again, we're going to look for the details, okay? And y'all talking about who just walks around with a rope. We don't know if it was a rope. It could have been string. And y'all acting like rope is NASA material. It's rope. And that's what I'm saying, because it's an investigation, right? We don't know if this is something he had been planning, because whatever happened on that phone, right, could have been a situation that's been going on for a minute. So this could have been something that Trey could have been planning for a while. He could have already had that rope. He was what was his I forgot what his major is. You know, he may have had rope sitting around because he's a college student. You know, he has projects and shit. He may have done this with a blanket. He may have done this with a sheet, not per se a rope. We haven't been given any of that information. Those are all the assumptions that are being made by the public that, oh, he was found hanging by a tree, or he had broken bones, or it was a rope. None of those things have been confirmed. Those are all assumptions. He could have hung himself with a sheet off of his bed. He could have used he could have tied a bunch of ties together and created the rope he need. It's all type of hood ass improvisational ways to create a rope. It could have been a belt. It could be anything. We don't have the information, so we don't know if it was a tree. We don't know if it was a pole that he hung himself on. We don't know if it was the bleachers that he hung himself from. We don't know. That information hasn't been given, and we don't know what material he used. Either way, he had it. And either way, all those material are purchasable. He could have that night went and got rope from a hardware store. He could have went to Home Depot. He could have went to, if it was a rope, So, look, I can already see how y'all struggling right now, baby. I'm scared for y'all. I'm scared. I see how y'all struggling already with this whole thing. If this independent autopsy comes back, y'all, and there's been no foul play, I hope y'all are ready to accept that. Because moving the goalposts every which way is not going to do us any favors. And because we have a real issue amongst Black male community, this isn't something that's preposterous. A young Black man with his whole life ahead of himself taking his life is not unreal no more in 2025. This is an epidemic. an epidemic. Hope y'all waiting. And I hope y'all are ready to have the conversation if we got to have the conversation. But I'll be keeping up with what comes out of this thing. So stay clear. If you guys see any updates or anything, send it to me. Send it to me. Send it to me so I can bring it all to the Conscious crew. And I'll be keeping my good eye on the story as well to see what comes out of this investigation. When the footage will be dropped, if the family then, will get access to it, because maybe it'll be available to them, but not to us. Maybe it'll be released to the public as well. And what the findings of this independent autopsy is. And once again, shout out to NFL player Colin Kaepernick for stepping in and, putting his money where his mouth is. So we'll see, child. Yeah, he was 21. He was young. They're dying young. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.